Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Well, the comeback Cats did it again last night. A 4-run eighth inning powered the Tigers to their sixth win when trailing, entering the seventh. That is tied for second in Major League Baseball. More exciting times. And the Rally Goose got a workout last night as well. It was a great day for baseball here in the Motor City. Final game in this series featuring the Detroit Tigers and the Minnesota Twins. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, glad to have you with us here for the rubber game of the match. And you can say one thing about Tigers Baseball this year, Rod, it is not boring at all.
Very exciting. And in last night's game, really the first game of the season without Miguel Cabrera. Of course, he's lost for the year. And we talked about guys stepping up, but guys really did step up. Greisen stepped up. Grinder stepped up in last night's game. Goodrum also stepped up. Big hits in that eighth inning. Great win last night.
All right, now we've got on paper at least a very good pitching matchup, and I think it'll kind of materialize that way. You got Michael Fulmer for the Tigers, Lance Lynn going for the Twins. These two guys have been pretty good.
You know, a lot of things going Michael Fulmer's way here today. Really, the first thing is the fact that he really hasn't gotten a win here at Comerica Park since last July. So that's going to change today. And I love the way that he's been using his fastball. 66% fastball usage, 7% higher than last season's average. So he's really had his foot on the gas pedal. Most of the fastballs 95 and above. And then when you add in the fact he's had a lot of success in his career against the Minnesota Twins, 4-0 with a respectable ERA. Then you start talking about Lance Lynn. Here's a guy that really got going against the Tigers just a couple of weeks ago. Hit his last four starts. That first one was against Detroit. He is 3-0 with a 1.46 ERA. Look for Lance Lynn to throw as many fastballs here today as Michael Fulmer. He has a really good four-seam fastball. He works it to all four quadrants of the strike zone, and that's exactly what he did to the Tigers a month ago. He'll try to do the exact same thing here tonight, so they need to be ready for that pitch.
All right, Tigers have a long road trip coming up. It would be nice to hit the road with a series win here against Minnesota. Final game coming up. After a short break to the Coliseum we go, and John Keating. Oh, Nico Goodrum, another big night last night. 3 hits, including the homer. Tigers Twins coming up.
Bank, raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. And by Chrysler, hurry in for a great deal at the Chrysler Incredible Sales Event. Tigers and Twins just moments away. John Keating with a quick pop back into the Call Sam studio. This is sort of percolating beneath the surface. Minnesota's had their way against the Tigers of late. It's how they became a playoff team last year. The Twins are 4-0-1 in the last 5 series against Detroit. But you know this, the Tigers are trying for their 6th series win here at home in their last 7 overall. Michael Fulmer is not a night owl. Some of us just do better during daylight hours, and in day games, Fulmer's ERA is 2.05. He's looking for that kind of brilliance here today. His first pitch is next.
Statue here on a great and gorgeous afternoon for baseball here in the Motor City. Tigers Twins going at it here today. Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical presents Michael Fulmer.
And Michael Fulmer comes in unbeaten in his career against the Minnesota Twins, 4-0 with an ERA just a shade over 3. Overall this season, 2-5 with a 440 earned run average. Look for Michael to throw lots of fastballs today. All the fastballs will be 95 and above.
Here is the starting lineup for Minnesota, presented by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. They've got Dozier, Rosario, and Escobar in the top 3 spots. Logan Morrison bumped up the cleanup. Kepler and Grossman, bottom 3 of Cave, Garver, and Adrianza. Each ball club with a win in the series. Tigers using a 4-run 8th last night for a comeback win.
Michael Fulmer goes to work and delivers down low to Brian Dozier. Dozier 233 this year. He is 0 for 6 in the series. Tigers have slowed him down, which has been somewhat of a trick. As he slaps this one in the air toward left center field, Martinez on the run to get there. Dozier is out, one gone.
Oakland University brings you the Tigers starting defense. Jacoby Jones back out in left field here this afternoon. Victor Reyes was outstanding in yesterday's game. Leonis Martin in center. Nicholas Castellanos, he's in right field. Third to first reads Candelario Iglesias. Nico Goodrum with a big day last night as well. And then John Hicks and James McCann back in there after missing a few days with flu-like symptoms.
Here is Rosario. Eddie looks at a strike right at the knees, 0-1.
Yeah, one of the things that Michael Fulmer has done a whole lot more of this year versus last season, throwing a lot more four-seam fastballs. There's another one.
0-2 now on Rosario, who comes in batting .311, having a marvelous season, but the Twins up against a guy that has not lost against him this year or in his career, and that would be Michael Fulmer. The 0-2 is drilled in the air deep into right field. On the move is Castellanos. He looks up. That ball is off the wall. Rosario on his way to second, diving in with a double.
Michael, go ahead, Part. I'm sorry.
One out, two-base hit for Eddie. Go ahead.
Michael Fulmer looking in at James McCann as to how in the world did Rosario hit that pitch. It's 0-2. It's a mid-90s fastball, but you see the difference there. 97 actually. And this ball's actually on the inner third of home plate, but he was able to get his hands close to his body. And he hits that ball off the gate. He nearly hit it out of here.
Talked about this last night, but is there a guy right now in the game that can hit really from armpits down to ankles? I mean, anywhere.
No, he and Altuve, the only two that come to mind, and one is right-handed and the other would be a left-handed. That would be Rosario, who just continues to show out against us. I mean, in every phase of the game.
Escobar the batter with a one-out double from Eddie Rosario. Eduardo Escobar is hitting .291.
Eduardo had a big triple in last night's game, having a big year. Lots of extra base hits, getting a chance to play every single day.
2 and 3 in the middle of the lineup right now for the Twins, a very potent duo. 1 ball and 1 strike on Escobar.
Yeah, first off-speed pitch of the afternoon thrown by Michael. It was a changeup. Michael will use his changeup mostly to the left-handed batters, and he'll use his slider and for the right-handers.
Pulled on the ground in right field. That'll be a base hit. Rounding third is Rosario. He will come in to score. And Eduardo Escobar with an RBI single. The Twins out to a 1-0 lead.
It's the exact same way that the Minnesota Twins started in last night's game. Rosario was on base and he was driven in by Escobar, who continues to have a fabulous 2018 campaign. It's another off-speed pitch there thrown by Michael that Escobar was able to get out in front of and hit sharply to right field.
42nd RBI of the year for Escobar. Here's Logan Morrison. Oh, and 1 on Morrison, who has been elevated to the cleanup slot today. Twins are hoping to get Joe Mauer back in their lineup when they go to Cleveland next. These two teams have really struggled with injuries this year. Of course, we know Miguel Cabrera is done for the year. Swing and a miss, 0-2 on Morrison.
A couple of really good fastballs by Michael thrown right by Logan. And both at 96. As I told you just a few moments ago, just about every fastball that Michael will throw today, it will be 95 miles an hour and above. As a matter of fact, he hit 99 in his last outing 5 days ago.
That's drilled toward right center field. Martin will come on to make the play. 2 gone.
Here's our Bell Tire pitch by pitch. The last time these two hooked up. Take a look at these pitch by pitches. First time against Kepler, all breaking balls, and he was able to finally strike him out. And then the second time up, he pitched him totally different. He threw him one breaking ball, but mostly fastballs to get him out the second time. So real nice job by Michael changing up against Kepler, who's having a decent season.
Not a whole lot of success, though, versus Fulmer, and he looks at a strike. Kepler is 0 for 5 in the series. Started game 1, came on as a pinch hitter late last night after the Tigers had seized command of the ball game late. He's got power, 7 homers. Now the 0-1.
Michael's already given up a couple of really hard hit base hits in the game. Well, one base hit and one line drive there to Morrison on fastballs. I think Fulmer's life is a lot easier when he mixes his pitches up.
That is golf foul down the right field line.
I think when Michael comes out like he's come out here today and he's trying to overpower the opposition with all fastballs. I mean, big league hitters, they're going to be able to hit a couple of those, and they've done that already in this frame, but I think he's much better. And when he mixes in a changeup or a slider here and there and then gets back to the fastball, he gets much more swings and misses that way.
Well, to your point, he has quality secondary pitch.
Yeah, but sometimes it just looks like he's not using them. And therefore, it kind of looks like, and I know it's not, but it looks like there's a lot of maximum effort out there.
Here's the 1-2. Pulled on the ground to the right side, fielded there by Goodrum, and that'll take care of the Twins here in the first. They get a run on 2 hits. The first inning, Tigers starting lineup presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. There's Leonis Martin. He'll get things started for the Tigers. Martin, Candelario, Castellanos, Victor batting cleanup, then Hicks and Goodrum. McCann back in the lineup. Iglesias and Jacoby Jones back in the lineup as well. They are facing Lance Lynn, presented by MGM Grand Detroit.
And Lance Lynn got off to a sluggish start for his new squad, the Minnesota Twins, but now pitching some really good baseball in his last 4. He is 3-0 with an ERA that is under 2. He, like Michael Fulmer, will throw a lot of fastballs, especially on first pitches. Also has a real nice curveball. He uses his slider and his changeup.
Martin jabs at a bunt, strike 1 on Leonis.
If you're going to bunt, Martin knows that you have to stay in the batter's box. You can't bunt while your feet are still moving, or else it's going to be a poor bunt. The best bunts are when you stay there and you place it where you want it, and then you run.
Lynn with the 0-1.
You done stuck that name on him, haven't you? Lynn.
Here is the weather today, 81 degrees and 33% humidity. Martin, 9 homers. Here's the 0-2, and it's rolled foul. All right, we'll go back to Leonis. That's his real name.
You call it whatever you want to call it.
Actually, I was saying Lance Lynn. Lynn.
Okay.
There are your umpires. Drake, Winters, Malinsky, and Timmons.
You got Keating calling him Lynn, too.
Yeah, I know it. He bunted it foul with 2 strikes. How about that?
My goodness.
When's the last time you saw somebody bunt?
It's been a long time. Last time I saw a regular position player attempt to bunt with 2 strikes. Pitchers, we see it occasionally, but not your everyday players. He tried to catch the third baseman, Escobar, sleeping, and that goes as a strikeout.
And Leonis was my pick the stick today, so
you still got time, though.
I got to swallow that one.
You still got some time.
He fouled bunt on 2 strikes.
You still got some time.
Here is Candelario. Jamer is in the 2 spot today. Tigers have been doing some shuffling with their lineup. Now that Miguel Cabrera is out, do you expect that they'll continue to shuffle, or do you think Gardy will find maybe a set lineup?
You know, one of the things that you and I talked about, and I had a feeling that it would happen as soon as Nicholas Castellanos cooled off a little bit in that 2 spot, that he would go back to 3 and Jamer would go back to 2. But Nicholas was so hot there for about 3 weeks while batting second that Ron Gardhire, he didn't want to move him. But I think this is their best lineup right here, in my opinion. Martin first, Candy second. And then you've got Nicholas third, where he can drive in some runs, because he was getting a lot of hits in that 2 spot, but he wasn't driving in nobody.
Right. Nick's still over 300 rather. Candelario is cooled. 2 for his last 21. Trying to get him jump started again, and now he's up at the count 3-1.
Well, apparently the last 4 series I've noticed the opposing pitchers really crowding Candelario inside with a good fastballs. He can hit it, though. He can turn on it.
Lynn's 3-1 is in there for a strike, 3-2. Lance Lynn, 31 years old, born in Indianapolis. Went 6 2/3 scoreless against the Tigers back in May. One of the big additions that the Twins had in the offseason to their rotation. And there's ball 4.
And while we have a moment, let's set the Twins defensive alignment behind their starting pitcher Lance Lynn this afternoon. Robbie Grossman in left field, Jake Cavey in center, and Max Kepler is the right fielder. Escobar the third baseman, Adrianza is the shortstop, Dozier, Morrison round out the infield, and Mitch Garver is the catcher this afternoon.
Now Castellanos. Nicholas at 310, but only 2 for his last 23.
Nicholas well over 400 as well when he puts the first pitch in play. First little stretch that Nicholas has struggled this year. He's been leaving the strike zone, though. I mean, he's been swinging at some breaking balls off the plate. He's also been leaving the strike zone on occasion on fastballs up and in.
Good pitch on the outer edge, 0-2.
So it's just one of those little stretches where Nicholas is not necessarily seeing the baseball the way that he had been all season, at least in his last 23 at-bats.
And it's the one thing that amazes me about guys at this level. They're able to continue with their confidence, and even though they know they're going to go through rough stretches, even the best, we're seeing this with a lot of guys, they're able to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Big money encounter here. Good matchup brought to you by Menards. Lance Lynn, who has been very good with opponents' average against his breaking ball, and Nick, well, he's good against breaking ball.
Yeah, something's got to give. The only one better than Nicholas is the reigning MVP in the American League, Altuve.
Swing and a miss, and Castellanos is out of there. A couple of strikeouts now for Lynn.
That's good four-seam fastball there thrown by Lance Lim. You see it coming off the fingertips. It's up and away, right at the glove of Garver, the starting catcher.
It'll bring up Victor Martinez.
Yeah, the one thing about Lance Lynn is you can't be over-aggressive against him. He will walk some batters. I mean, last year nearly walked 4 per 9 innings. So you allow him to get wild, and he's been wild this year as well with the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, a couple of starts ago, he had 5 walks in a ball game, and that was against the Indians. In fact, he's walked 5 in a game twice. He's also had a 6-walk game. Vimar looks at a strike on the outer edge, 1-1.
Only Robbie Ray, the former Tiger and current Arizona Diamondbacks left-handed starting pitcher, averaged more walks per 9 innings than Lance Lynn did in the big leagues.
One and two now on Martinez. By the way, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow, and you'll get a free small order of curly fries. One and two on Vimart. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tigers continue to play well here at home. 22 home wins this year, and when you look at the numbers, only the Yankees, Boston, and Seattle have more home runs.
Yeah, I was looking at that today. That's amazing.
And how about Seattle, the way they played recently?
They are a really good baseball team, and they're doing it without Robinson Cano.
Runner goes, then a soft line drive into center field, base hit. Candelario is on his way to third. He's in there standing up. Little soft serve out to center for Victor Martinez.
Tigers have been doing a pretty nice job with their 2-strike approaches. We saw Goodrum last night. We saw Griner last night. We saw Reyes last night. Look at all these pitches by Lance Lynn, mostly away from Victor. They play him to pull, but they pitch him away. And look at where he makes contact with the last one. I mean, that's a thing of beauty. 94 off the plate away, and he just hit it where it was pitched.
So here's Hicks now with 2 outs. Tying run at third, 1-0. Twins have the lead in the first.
Yeah, get ready to hit the fastball.
Mid-90s from Lynn. It's been a really good month of June for John Hicks. 400 this month. And this is on the heels of a really good month of May. Wave and a miss, 0-2. I think you brought up a good point last night in your chat with Simo in the middle of the game, and how Hicks now knows that Miggy is not coming back and how that will affect his attitude.
Oh, that's right. I mean, when he took over in May, he knew Miggy was coming back, but now he knows that job is his. So he just needs to have that same approach that he had in May and not try to do more than he's capable of doing, because he's batting in the middle of the lineup every single day. And if he keeps that same approach, he's going to have a really good year. He's already on his way to having a good season.
You see the April, May, and June numbers for John Hicks.
Yeah, didn't get a chance to play all that much in the month of April. McCann and Miggy were basically playing every day.
Wouldn't chase, 1-2. So Lynn now has already thrown 23 first inning pitches.
21 of the 23 pitches thrown by Lynn so far have been fastballs. 4-seam fastballs. There's another one.
That one at 96. Lynn signed with the Twins on March the 12th. So he wasn't signed until a couple of weeks into games in spring training.
It's one of the things that they felt like hampered him from getting off to a good start. The fact that he started late in spring training, didn't have a full spring, and basically his first 5 or 6 starts in the big leagues, he was trying to get his legs underneath him and build up arm strength.
Fouled away. .25 in now. He has thrown a total of 18 strikes.
Very seldom will you see 2 starting pitchers in a game like we are going to witness here today, where 65 to 70% of their pitches will be fastballs. Bartolo Colon throws lots of fastball, but by and large, I mean, even guys with power fastballs, the mix is usually somewhere between 50-50.
Well, you can tell the body language now of Lynn getting a little bit frustrated as Hicks fouls off another.
Well, what I don't understand, Mario, to be perfectly honest with you, is that Lynn does have good breaking pitches. We talked about his numbers just a minute ago, his breaking pitch. I mean, the numbers are really good against that pitch, but yet fastball after fastball after fastball. And if he makes a mistake here, he's going to allow Hicks to drive in a run.
Well, let's see what he comes back with here on 1-2. Another foul back out of play, and Lynn now continues to struggle to get Hicks the final out. Michael Fulmer hoping for some early runs here to work with. If nothing else, the pitch count elevated here against Lynn early on. Swing and a miss. He finally got him. Fastball up. Hicks could not handle it, and down go the Tigers. They strand a pair. Lynn has 3 strikeouts. The top of the second now. It's going to be Robbie Grossman, and then Jake Cave and Mitch Garver. RBI single by Escobar in the first, scored a run for the Twins. Fulmer back to work, delivers strike 1 on a mid-90s fastball. Robbie Grossman is in left field in the game today. They've got Rosario DHing. Here's the strike now, 1-2. Grossman in his 3rd year now with the Minnesota Twins, spent a couple of years in Houston as well. It'll back him out of there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Fulmer, as we mentioned earlier, has never lost to the Twins. He's 4-0 with a 3.04 ERA. Matthew Boyd had a bit of an elevated pitch count last night, but went 5 for the Tigers.
Yeah, Matthew threw 36 pitches in the first frame, but then he settled in and hung around long enough to put his team in a position to win. And legendary Lloyd get a chance to sleep in his own bed tonight. He's from Gary, Indiana.
Now the 1-2. Got him. Strike three, and Grossman says, But Rob Drake said, you're gone, one away. First strikeout for Fulmer. Bernstein advantage now, and Michael in day games versus night games. Well, much better in day games.
Yeah, he likes the day games. 205 earned run average, the whip much lower. Doesn't give up much hard contact.
Here is Jake Cave.
And Jake Cave is from Hampton, Virginia. And anybody that has watched our broadcast over the last number of years knows there's a lot of guys from Virginia, the Upton brothers, Verlander. Kadire also works with the Minnesota Twins organization, and Cave said he grew up idolizing Mike Kadire and had a chance to meet him. Yeah, had a chance to meet him just a couple of weeks ago in Rochester, and said it was awesome.
He'll fly out to center field, two gone.
Kadire is a quality individual as well.
Stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll be selecting the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game, presented by McDonald's.
Our very own John Hicks, also from Virginia.
Hotbed.
A lot of good players. Zimmerman from there. Mark Reynolds.
Here's Mitch Garver. Ball one. Garver was the Twins minor league player of the year last year. We're touching on this last night. Minnesota has to decide what they want to do with their catching situation, with Castro out for the year with a meniscus tear. Jason Castro, their starter. So Garver has gotten most of the reps behind the dish. I think a lot is going to depend in the next couple of weeks, don't you, Ron, as we get toward the trading deadline?
Yeah, it depends on where they are in the standings, and apparently they're going to be in it because no one's running away with the American League Central. The White Sox beat the Cleveland Indians the last couple of days on the south side of Chicago.
Now the 2-1. Up top, swings right through it, 2-2.
I don't think Michael has thrown a fastball under 95 miles an hour here so far today, but it's kind of what we expected. What a gorgeous afternoon.
Cannot get any better than this.
Something else that I'm noticing here between McCann and Fulmer, they seem to be on a better page today. The last couple of outings that Fulmer has had and McCann has caught, I mean, there's been a lot of shaking off. I mean, just a lot of shaking off. And there will be some of that, but not to the magnitude that it was his last few starts.
3-2. Last start against Cleveland, 7 innings, 1 run, 7 strikeouts for Fulmer.
And that's against a really good offensive team.
Fly ball, right field, playable. Castellanos under it, and it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. Well, he can play almost every position on the diamond, but he's got some pop too. More on Nico Goodrum when we come back.
AE energy, know your own power, and boy, did Niko Goodrum show us a lot of power in last night's game, taking that breaking ball at the bottom of the strike zone from Jose Barrios and putting the Tigers on the board, and he went on to have a really nice day yesterday. He wasn't done there.
Niko, then McCann, then Iglesias facing Lance Lynn.
Who would have thunk this?
Not me. Jamer, number 1. Leonis Martin, number 2. And there's Niko tied with Castellanos for 3rd with 6 homers. The 0-1.
I was kind of shocked that the truck had a chance to weigh in and take Niko Goodrum today, and Ram picked the stick. Nobody else pulled him off the board, so the truck claimed him.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know the crew was part of Pick the Stick.
They claimed him today. They called us crazy.
The 0-2 is going to bounce in 1 and 2.
They're not. I just threw that out there.
Oh, okay.
They like to think they're part of it, though.
Well, in more ways than not, they are.
They
believe
are.
me.
They are. They have as much fun with it as we do.
1 and 2 on Niko.
Niko is 6 for 17 against his former teammate. Niko spent 8 seasons in the minor leagues with the Minnesota Twins, and before finally leaving that organization, signing as a minor league free agent with his current employer.
It's got to feel good for Goodrum. 353 is what the numbers add up to be against the Twins this year. A couple of home runs as well. And really, when Niko was in the minor league organization for Minnesota, he was a dynamic player. I mean, he hit with some power. In 1 year, stole 35 bases.
Played an athletic position, shortstop.
Niko is all over the diamond for the Tigers, and he is loving it this year. Getting a chance to play for an extended period of time in the major leagues. Again, the 1-2 and a bouncing ball to second base. Dozier has this one. Niko is out, 1 gone. Well, once again today we take part in the home run challenge. Every home run in this game raises money for prostate cancer research, and since June 1st, $1.5 million has been raised in the challenge. You can make a pledge by going to homerunchallenge.org. And we'll be doing the challenge up through Father's Day coming up on Sunday. Here's McCann now with 1 out. Good to see Mac back in the lineup. He had not played since last Saturday with flu-like symptoms.
And very important for the Tigers to start to zone in on the fastballs up in the zone thrown by Lynn. And that's where most of his heaters have been. And he's gotten several swings and misses at the top of that strike zone. And there's another one right around the belt buckle. Lynn had some pretty good years with the St. Louis Cardinals, former #1 draft choice.
By the way, you want some useless information?
What would that be, partner?
Okay, the catcher.
But it's not going to
today-
be useless.
No, it is, believe me. But the catcher today, Garver, his middle name is Lynn, spelled L-Y-N.
L-Y-N.
Right.
So just one N.
Just one N. Lance Lynn is his pitcher.
Ah.
With 2 N's.
Yeah.
I warned you it would be useless, but there it is.
Just another way to spell Lynn. And you could also spell Lynn L-Y-N-N-E too. You know that, right?
True, I did. Lance Lynn has thrown a lot of pitches early on in this game. He is now up to 38. Hit a lot of foul balls against the Twins right-hander. There's a chopper to the shortstop on the backhand there, Adrianza. And McCann is out 2 away. Spend your summer at the ballpark with a Tigers digital ballpark pass. Enjoy a ticket to every Tigers home game from July through September for as little as $29.99 per month. If you'd like to order, go to the Tigers.com website. Digital ballpark pass available there. Two gone now for Iglesias. Iggy at 261. Iglesias has really turned it on in the last month. He is 3 for 8 in this series, hitting for some extra base pop as well.
And not to mention, playing dazzlingly at shortstop position.
That is clubbed to left, but Grossman is there to end the inning. 1-2-3. Dixon Machado has had plenty of reasons to celebrate this Father's Day weekend. John Keating has more when we come back. Game as we go to the top of the third. Twins got a run in the first. RBI single by Escobar. Fulmer back to work and a bouncer on one pitch hit right to Goodrum. One gone.
John Keating with a Chrysler game break here. On Monday, while the team was off, our Johnny Kane spent some time with Dixon Machado and his family. This weekend on Tigers Live, we'll introduce you to the Machados, Dixon's wife Teresa, and their two children, Tiago and Mila. Father's Day is this Sunday, so it'll all be part of our weekend celebration of everyone's dads. And as I understand it, the kids were asked nicely to maybe stay off the field. you saw Tiago on the field.
Yeah, he
having
was.
An absolute ball.
Isn't that a great family?
Yeah.
I mean, Dixon is just a great guy. He's got a really good family. Of course, Father's Day coming up on Sunday. Machado getting the day off today as a strike is called on Brian Dozier.
You know what's really cool, though, is to watch the kids grow up like a Dixon Machado. I mean, you see him in the minor leagues, then you see him come over to Major League spring training for a couple of games during the course of spring. And then when you finally see them grow up, they've got wife, now they got kids, and they turn into really good men.
Machado's still very young in his Major League career. Dixon has gotten a good portion of the playing time at second base this year. Here's the 1-2 to Dozier. 2-2.
Yeah, Dozier, good fastball hitter. Yeah, we'll see if Michael decides to challenge him with a fastball.
Ground ball to short. Two hops there. Iglesias. Dozier is out. Two gone.
Yeah, Michael Fulmer has thrown 36 total pitches, and we have told you that just about every last one of them have been 95 and above. And here's some examples of the really good fastball that Michael Fulmer has been unleashing here this afternoon against the Minnesota Twins bats. He comes in 4-0 already against Minnesota with an ERA just a shade over 3, so he's pitched very well against them. 28 already. 95 and above.
Rosario doubled off the gate in right field, and his first at bat scored their only run. Souvenir for a fan in row one.
Ooh,
man,
that's nasty.
What was that?
That is wicked. Well, he finally threw a slider. That's what it was.
Look at see the swing there by Rosario?
And Rosario's looking for a fastball, too. You know it. Take a look at this swing. He swung at arm speed, and that's what the fastball will do once you decide to throw your breaking ball. You'll get some uncomfortable swings like that. Maybe not that bad, but you'll get some uncomfortable swings.
He was simultaneously trying to hold up his swing and move that back foot. Backed him out of there again, 1-2.
Well, he got an 0-2 hit his last time up on a fastball that was 97. That was off the plate inside, and he hit it off that Meyer sign in right field for a double.
Backed him out of there again, 2-2.
Yeah, he's throwing a few more sliders here to Rosario. More than likely, Rosario going to make an all-star team this year for the very first time. It's always tough to make the all-star team as an outfielder, though. Man, they've got so many great outfielders in the American League.
Ooh. Swing and a miss. He got him again.
I see you, Michael.
He buried that slider inside, and Rosario's out on strikes. Nasty, nasty, nasty.
And nastier.
Third and Michael Fulmer today, Rod, showing some of that same aggressiveness we saw in his last start against Cleveland.
Oh, really? We've seen it in his last couple of starts, and one of those starts was against Minnesota Twins, where he was able to push through 7 innings, really for the first time in a long time. And also Lance Lynn today, man. Both of these guys, heavy dose of four-seam fastballs, all of them in the mid-90s.
There is one big difference, though. Lynn is really up there, elevated as far as the pitch count is concerned, and Fulmer has been much more economical.
Yeah, Tigers have done a nice job against Lance Lynn. Even when he's gotten ahead of them with 2 strikes, they've been able to foul off several of those fastballs, and therefore that pitch count up to 43 now.
Jacoby Jones leads it off for the Tigers, and when you look at what the Tigers have been able to do here, they have not hit very well with runners in scoring position in this series, Rod. And again, they stranded a couple of guys in the first, yet they have a chance to win this series.
Yeah, they've got to do better, and there's no doubt about that. I mean, they stranded 10 a couple of days ago. They stranded 9 more in last night's game. I was really encouraged by the 8th inning where they scored a few runs in the contest to beat Minnesota last night by having some quality plate appearances with runners in scoring position. So let's hope that they can continue to do that, and they especially need to do it today and tomorrow when they go on the road trip to Chicago.
Meanwhile, Jacoby continues to be susceptible to that letter-high fastball. He swings through another.
And Jacoby has been swinging at the fastball that's been up quite often lately. He's kind of lost his way momentarily. They've got to get him back on track. They've got to get Jacoby thinking about hitting the ball back to center field and to right field.
Top of the order now, Leonis Martin, who bunted with 2 strikes in the first inning and bunted it foul. And so that went down as a strikeout. A lot of big hits in the 4-run 8th last night, and Martin's 2-run single gave the Tigers some breathing room. Two and 0. We talk about Castellanos and all the multi-hit games he has had, but now Martin with 21 multi-hit games. Here's the 2-0 pitch.
Go back to the Jacoby Jones swing. I want you to focus on something. Take a look at his left shoulder here, and that's all I want you to really focus on. This is why he's having some difficulties now. Look how violently that front shoulder comes off the baseball. So his head comes off as well. So if your shoulder comes off that violently, you see where he's looking? He's kind of looking out in center field and back toward the dugout because you can't really see the baseball that is in front of the plate if your shoulder is coming off the baseball that violently. So you're just not going to see it. Watch the front shoulder again. I know the ball's up, but that front shoulder just comes off way too quick, and you're just not going to be able to see it. Once he corrects that, he'll be good again.
How do you go about correcting it?
Well, you just got to work. Yeah, get back on the tee. You got to get some front side soft toss. When I was a hitting instructor, one of the things that I used to do with the guys that had trouble putting the ball in play is what I would do for the entire batting practice. I mean, every single swing during the entire batting practice, I would ask them. I wouldn't force them to do it. I would ask them to hit the ball the other way. Every swing during BP, I want you to concentrate on hitting the ball to the right side of the infield. Even when your rounds come up where guys like to hit the ball at the ballpark, your later rounds,
right,
I still wanted them to focus on hitting the ball the other way. And you would be surprised at how many guys got back on track just by adopting that in batting practice. I mean, because you watch guys take BP up here every single day, Mario, and guys can hit the ball at the ballpark whenever they want to. I mean, balls are coming at 70 miles an hour. They're right over the heart of the plate, and that's what it's called, batting practice. But if you take batting practice with a purpose, when you're struggling, it will help you get out of your mini slump, I guess I'd call it.
3-2 on Martin. Soft ground ball right side. And Martin is out. 2 gone. Well, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app, take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go. Made available by Oakland University. Let's get back to BP, Rod. When guys take their rounds at BP, what do they do in the first round? What do they do in the second round? What do they do in the third round?
Well, usually the first round, you start out with a couple of bunts, one to the first base side, one to the third base side. Even your big hitters that aren't going to bunt during the course of a game, they still bunt. And then your first round, you simulate a hit and run. You have one guy, one swing with a runner on second base, less than 2 outs.
Shallow center field will drop, base hit.
Jamer sure needed that one, boy. And then you have a runner on third base, less than 2 outs. So you kind of simulate all the games, situations that you might go through that first round of BP. Then you take a few swings and you hit the ball the other way that first round. And then that next round, when you get up, that's when you can start to do what you want to do. But that's where a guy that's struggling, that's where you still want to stay to the opposite field, just to get that swing down, keeping your head and your eyes on the baseball.
You know, there are some guys where you just enjoy watching take batting practice and not just bomb the ball out of the ballpark, but guys like Edgar Martinez and Miguel Cabrera, they would work BP.
Oh, it's an art.
2-out chance now for Castellanos, and Nicholas looks at ball 1.
Something else that helps too when you're going through it a little bit, struggling as a player, is you get away from it for a day. If you're not playing one day, don't even pick up a bat. I mean, don't take batting practice. Don't even look at the bat rack. Just go sit down and chill and watch the other players, and then you'd be surprised how watching other guys might trigger something in you that you might be doing wrong, that will help you get back on track.
Well, they're trying to get Nick back on track as well. He is now 2 for his last 24. And we've seen a lot of swings and misses recently from Castellanos.
And that's uncommon because he has really good bat-to-ball skills.
Fouled away, 1-2.
You can see that Nick is trying to take that real simple approach, that we just got finished talking about, where you try to get back on track by simply driving the ball the other way. And on top of that, he's got a huge hole on the right side of the infield. So with 2 strikes, he is simply trying to hit that ball right through that vacated hole at second base.
We're only in the 3rd inning here, and the Tigers have fouled off 17 balls already in this game.
Wow.
So that is one of the reasons why Lynn's pitch count is up there. Two-out single by Candelario. Tigers trail by a run here in the 3rd, final game of this homestand. Swing and a miss, and Castellanos fans again. That'll end the 3rd. No runs, a single, 1 man left. And Tigers baseball today presented by Bell Tire.
Because no matter where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
On our way to the 4th inning now here at Comerica Park, and Eduardo Escobar leads it off for Minnesota. Then Morrison, then Kepler in the Twins' 4th inning. They got a run on the RBI single by Escobar in the 1st. Fulmer's been dominant since, though. Checked it inside, did not go, says Tim Timmons.
Now, a lot of the fastballs that Fulmer has thrown to a lot of these left-handers that he's going up against have been on the inner 3rd of home plate. Not afraid to go inside with that heater.
Popped up, middle of the infield, Iglesias. He's got some flash, man. One away, and now we bring in Craig Monroe, who's joining us down on the field. And Simo, since that 1st inning, Fulmer has turned it up a notch.
Yes, he has. But that's what I expected. I expected him to come out and kind of have his foot on the gas pedal early in this contest. It worked for him well in his last outing where he punched out 7. I also love the fact that he's keeping the baseball down, and he's turning that fastball into 4 pitches for himself, guys, because he's hitting all 4 quadrants of the strike zone with that particular pitch.
You could really expand your repertoire by using all parts of the plate.
Well, you really can, and I think it does start with the fastball. When you're able to move the fastball around the strike zone and you're not afraid to come inside to both left-handers and right-handers, it makes that slider, those secondary pitches, that much better. You saw the Rosario swing.
Yeah, it was pretty ugly.
Oh, that was ugly.
Curt Schilling was probably the best pitcher that I've ever seen. He worked the 4 quadrants of the strike zone with a mid-90s fastball. He had unbelievable command with his fastball. He had good secondary pitches too, but his command with his fastball was second to none.
You got a chance in Arizona to see Schilling and Randy Johnson together.
Well, I saw Randy for 4 straight years, and Randy won 4 Cy Youngs when I was there. So that kind of speaks volumes as to how he pitched while I was there. And had it not been for Randy Johnson winning the Cy Youngs, Curt Schilling would have won 2 of them. So that's how good they were as a staff. It was unbelievable.
And Mario, I've been in the box against Randy Johnson, and trust me when I tell you it wasn't the most comfortable at bat I've had. Probably one of the most uncomfortable at bats because he's throwing 97, 98, and at times didn't know where it was going.
I mean, you look at the pitchers today and some of the guys that are dominant. I mean, Max Scherzer obviously dominant. Kershaw dominant when healthy. But Randy Johnson won 4 Cy Youngs in a row.
That is popped up. 3-1 pitch is skied to first base for Hicks. 2 gone.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed pitch. Michael Fulmer has dialed it all the way up to 99 once again here today. Well, you might as well go to 100, Michael.
Why not?
Don't shortchange the people.
Here's Kepler. You know, Simo, you talk about Randy Johnson. Obviously, his stuff was off the charts, but there had to be an element of intimidation that went with every at-bat you took against him as well. I mean, big league guys aren't intimidated. I understand that. I mean, they're major leaguers for a reason, but Randy was kind of different.
Yeah, there's no doubt Randy was different, especially the way he put that glove up over his nose where all you could see is his eyes, and he just looked like he had vicious intent. And then he'd buzz you with 98, 99 up high.
Yeah.
Especially as a rookie, kind of get you off the plate, and then he would own you with that nasty slider. He was a fierce competitor. There's no doubt about that.
Missing outside, 3-0 now in Kepler. And Fulmer has gone to a couple of 3-0 counts here in the 4th.
Simo, did you get the green light to 3-0 quite a bit when you played?
Right, I didn't. I don't like the green light on 3-0.
No?
No, I don't. I've worked really hard to get to 3-0. If I take a fastball right here, 3-1 count, he's still got to come with a good pitch on 3-1 as well.
Well, there's ball 4 to Kepler. Were you afraid that you might swing at a pitch because you had the green light that you really didn't want to swing at?
Yeah, I felt like I would be a little bit too aggressive. I really did. I felt like when I got to 3-0, I would be a little bit too aggressive, and I didn't want to give it away. I didn't want to give away an at-bat on one particular pitch. It's always good, though, because if he throws that 3-0 fastball for a strike, there's a good chance you might get another one.
Good pitch there by Fulmer, going to the breaking ball against Grossman. He hasn't thrown many breaking balls today, but when he has thrown the breaking ball, either they have taken it or he's gotten some uncomfortable swings because, and rightfully so. I mean, Minnesota's dialed in for that mid-90s fastball.
Grossman a strikeout in the 2nd. The walk here to Kepler snaps a streak of 10 consecutive retired by Fulmer. Here's the 1-1. 2-1 now on Grossman.
That's a good pitch. Good breaking ball. He might as well come back with another heater. I mean, let's do another breaking ball here. Might be, if you're filling it for a strike. Staying with the heater.
It'll pop up, shallow left center field. Jones on the run, tracks it down, and the inning is over. Well, the Men's World Cup officially starts today, and Victor Martinez will be watching. Vimar tells us about his passion for soccer after the break.
a really good soccer match. You know, you don't care if you spend 90 minutes sitting on your couch and it's 0-0, but you see all the technique, all the the plays those guys make. It, you know, it's very physically. You know, it's fun.
Big soccer fan Victor Martinez, and the World Cup underway today. In fact, Russia has defeated Saudi Arabia in the first game. Russia, the host country, 5-0 a winner today. That's a huge score in soccer. Vmart getting it started here with a single in the first inning. He's 1 for 1, and a bouncing ball right side. Vmart is going to be out, 1 gone.
Yeah, Victor said he could sit down and watch soccer all day. And he does that in the clubhouse when soccer is on.
Brazil a favorite again this year, although Germany won it 4 years ago, and they've got a very good club as well. 1 away now for John Hicks. Lance Lynn threw 28 first inning pitches. The Tigers got runners at first and third, but failed to score, and Lynn's been in control for the most part the rest of the way.
And John Hicks, his first time up, got a steady diet of fastballs from Lance Lynn. Lynn finally able to strike John out with a fastball at 95 that was upstairs. Most of Lance Lynn's fastballs have been up today.
Soft little looper and caught by Dozier for out number 2. Let's bring in Trevor Thompson.
Mario, last night post-game we walked into Ron Gardenhire's office and there was a distinct smell of beer, as if someone had been bathing in it. And that was exactly the case. One of his coaches, Steve Little, who keeps tracks of such things, realized it was Ron Gardenhire's 1100th career win, so we rallied the troops inside the clubhouse, led by Nick Castellanos. And as Gardy said, they ambushed him when he got inside the clubhouse with a beer shower.
Ooh.
He was drenched in suds to celebrate win number 1,100, and it comes against his former team. Asked what it means, he said, it means you're old, you've been around a long time, but hey, it means a whole lot more than that. It means you're effective because someone wants to hire you over that period of time and you're getting the job done. Congrats to Ron Gardenhire on career win number 1,100 as a manager. It certainly is a huge milestone.
It also means he probably had to take 2 showers to get that off him.
Yeah.
And it means the guys inside the clubhouse had a whole lot of fun dousing their manager. Everybody had a big smile when we asked them about Gardy's win and what it meant to give him that beer shower. It was a big moment inside the clubhouse for all the boys.
He's had a nice run. 13 seasons as a manager with Minnesota. 6 division titles.
Swing and a miss, and the count now is 1 ball, 2 strikes on Goodrum.
I heard Steve Little, his bench coach and his real good friend, was behind that, making sure that the 1100th win for Ron Gardenhire was memorable. One of the many roles that the bench coach has to play. We saw him playing psychology a couple of minutes ago to Jacoby Jones.
Swing and a miss. Goodrum is out, and Lance Lynn with a 1-2-3 4th inning. 4 in the books here at Comerica. Still 1-0 Twins.
Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. For tires and auto service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And by Chevrolet, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall.
And apparently, Michael Fulmer, when he came off the mound last time, had a conversation with the home plate umpire and had to do something with the mound, apparently. Lance Lynn also not liking the mound today. So in between innings, they came out and did a little work on the mound.
Grounds crew right on it. And they got it all fixed up, and now Fulmer goes back to work here in the 5th.
And the mound really has not hurt what both of these pitchers have been able to do today.
No, sir. Jake Cave leaves it off. And Cave looks at ball 1 down low. Cave in the ball game is 0 for 1 with the fly ball. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Slice to left field, sinking, caught on the run by Jacoby Jones.
Jacoby gets really good jumps in left field, and he takes proper routes the majority of the time. One of your better left fielders in the American League.
Simo, you patrol that area out there. What do you got on Jones defensively this year? The offensive struggles seemingly have not bothered him with the defense.
Well, he's an above-average defender. That's no question. I love the jumps that he gets on the baseball. He seems to read the ball off the bat extremely well. And another thing, guys, it's tricky over here in left field coming to the wall and past the line, down the foul line. You have to really know where you're at. And he seems to have a really good idea of what he's doing out there in left field.
Slow roller to third. Candelario, quick throw is going to be late. An infield hit for Mitch Garver.
Here's some examples of Jacoby Jones and his prowess, not only in left field, but also in center field. He has played both of those positions. He says he prefers center, but he'll do whatever the team wants him to do. But he goes in, he goes back, he goes left, he goes right. And he's got a nice throwing arm as well in the outfield. So Jacoby Jones is doing a nice job in the outfield.
And guys, he's also not afraid of the wall. I think that's important to highlight. You have to have like no abandonment. You have to be able to go up and get some baseballs and make some plays, and he does an outstanding job of that as well.
You touched on that foul line, Simo, that it really starts to disappear quickly down the line in the left field corner.
It really does. And again, like once you start to get close to the wall, you feel the surface change under your feet from the grass to the gravel. And so you know there's not a lot of room left over there. And some guys shy away from catching the baseball, but not Jacoby Jones. He goes right after it.
Little looper in the left. That's going to drop in, base hit. So an infield single and a blooper by Adrianza. Now they're 2 men on. With only 1 out, they'll turn the lineup over now to Brian Dozier. Four Minnesota hits in this game. Don't want to jinx it here, but the Tigers have done a really nice job on Dozier, who is now 0 for 8 in the series. And Simo, this is a guy that's been killing the Tigers.
Well, the Tigers haven't made many mistakes to him in this particular series thus far. And I hope that's a trend that continues. And they're also not, sitting on the one side of the plate. It looks like to me that they're using both sides of the plate against him. They're elevating, and then they're going to the bottom of the strike zone, trying to keep him off balance, changing his eye level, and not allowing him to get loose.
That's in there, a strike called. Good hard fastball from Fulmer. Here's the 0-1. Dozier free agent at the end of the season. There are a couple of other second basemen out there that will probably draw some attention. Daniel Murphy over in the National League. DJ LeMahieu, the Michigander, is also going to be a free agent. Asdrubal Cabrera, so might be a little competition. I would imagine Dozier would like to at least test the waters.
He's had big power numbers. In fact, no second baseman in the last 3 years has hit more homers than Dozier. In the air toward left field, chasing Jones back. Jacoby will get to the warning track and haul it in.
Take a look at this last at bat, and this is what you were talking about, Simo. These swings by Rosario. He started him off with upper 90s fastballs, and he just went inside. I mean, way inside with a breaking ball. 99 with that fastball. Back in there again with another breaking ball. Then he finally finished him off. I mean, that ball was a foot inside, and Rosario was still trying to get to it. That was a dirty slider right there.
Doubled and scored in the first inning. Ripped foul down the right field line. Rosario, a huge month of May, 368 with 21 RBIs.
And guys, I kind of see why he's able to do some damage on that particular pitch. That first pitch, he makes an adjustment. Fulmer gave him a heavy dose of those sliders down and in. He went up to the batter's box looking for one. Yeah, he pulled it foul, but he wanted to let Fulmer know, don't make a mistake with that pitch.
Popped up, third base side, and Candelario hauls it in to retire the side. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left.
Fastball here a bunch today, but Lance Lynn, he's got a good heater today too. Most of his fastballs at that 95-mile-per-hour range, most of them upstairs, and he's gotten a lot of swings and misses on the pitch. The Tigers have not been able to lay off that elevated heater thrown by Lance Lynn so far this afternoon.
Bottom 3 coming up for the Tigers. As you look at the numbers on Lynn, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk.
14 and swings and misses, most of them on that heater.
He has allowed 2 singles so far in this game. That's it. McCann is over 1 with a ground out. Iglesias and then Jones to follow.
All right, guys, I'm hearing the chatter in here. They're saying "Vámonos, vámonos." You know what that means?
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. It's about that time.
And next, that rally goose gonna show up.
That's right.
2-0. Rally Goose shut up in the 8th inning last night.
Sure did.
And it must have been cooling its heels for most of the game. Because the Tigers just couldn't get anything going until the 8th.
He's just trying to stay out of the sun right now.
Here's the 2-0 pitch. Foul back. See, when you got a guy like Lance Lynn, who admittedly got off to a very slow start, was it more a lack of spring training this year or the fact that he changed leagues, do you think?
I think it has a little bit to do with both. Obviously, he struggled with command because, again, you miss all of spring training. You don't get to throw as many bullpens. But then when you change league, this is the American League. There's more hitters, obviously, and I think the hitters are better in some instances in the American League. You do have to deal with the DH, and he's also with a new team. And you want to prove your worth. And sometimes guys put a little bit more pressure on themselves than they need to.
Here's the 2-2 to McCann. Fly ball right field. Fairly deep. Sending him back to the warning track, but Kepler hauls it in.
Here is the 1-800 call Sam call of the game. One of the things that we talked about today at the top of the show was the amount of fastballs that we would possibly see today. And you could see that Lance Lynn, 85% with his fastball, only 12% with the breaking ball, and only 20% with the breaking ball for Michael, and he's 74% with his heater. But in a day and age where, I mean, you got a lot of power pitchers that are really throwing a lot of off-speed pitches. Not today for these two guys.
Now Iglesias.
I don't know about you, C, but if I knew a guy that was going to challenge me with a fastball and I could look out there in his eyes and I could just know beyond a shadow of a doubt that that was what I was going to get, I didn't usually miss the fastball.
Well, I think today, Rod, both of these guys, Fulmer and Lynn, it's the location of that fastball.
The base hit to left. One on, one out.
But you're right, I'm chomping at the bits. A guy throwing all heaters. I'm going to load up a little bit sooner and hopefully pick it up a lot earlier. And yeah, you're right. You don't want to miss that fastball because you're not going to get many of those pitches.
That gives you an idea of just how hot Iglesias is right now, because Lance Lynn, we just told you that he's thrown 85% fastballs, and he throws that breaking ball up there for Iglesias, and he is able to find the seam with a base hit. And we'll see if he wants to steal a base. He's got a ton of them. They got to make something happen.
Well, this is who I'm pulling for, guys. Jacoby Jones. He's such a great defensive player and an impact player on the bases as well with his speed. But I'm really ready and anxiously waiting to see his offense catch up to all the other elements of his game.
We have seen flashes, to be sure. I mean,
yes.
There was a part earlier this year, Simo, where I think it was back in April heading into May. He was as good as the Tigers had.
And he was confident. He was feeling good. The numbers were good. But then once you get into a rut, or the confidence does waver, but then you start changing mechanics. You start thinking about your hands. You start thinking about timing, getting your front foot down, and now you're clouded, and the game speeds up on you.
I think Jacoby is a lot like most hitters, whether you be a young player or a veteran player. If you get strikes, you're going to be a better player. I think when Jacoby struggles, he just leaves the strike zone way too much. And I don't know if it's not seeing the baseball or what, but when he stays in the strike zone, he's not bad at all.
Well, it comes down to trust and slowing it down. The game, when it speeds up on you, that's exactly what happens. I've done that. We've all done it. If you played this game long enough, we've all done it to where you allow the game to speed up, and you want to do it so bad, you start trying to do too much. You think you can hit every pitch that they throw up there, right? And you know that's not the case. You got to hit to your strength, and I'd like to see him do that a little bit more.
Yep. Great point. You got Iggy on the move?
Well, right now, because Lance Lynn is pitching so well, I'd like to see him put a little pressure on him, see if we can get some guys trying to steal a base, even a hit and run here. But Jacoby, obviously, with the strikeouts, maybe not the best move right now.
But that's how you force a guy in putting the ball in play, though, see? When a guy's struggling
true.
like Jacoby, you force him into putting the ball in play by putting a hit and run on or something like that. And obviously, it makes you concentrate a whole lot more. and then you're not thinking about your mechanics. You're simply just trying to put that baseball in play somewhere.
That's a great point, right? You focus only on the baseball.
I thought Jim Leland was a master at that, at helping guys get back on their way by putting on a hit and run when a guy was struggling.
Fouled away now, 2-2 on Jones. Top the order, Martin waiting on deck, and here is the list of Tigers stolen base leaders. Iglesias with 10 of them this year.
Iglesias is playing some great baseball, guys. He's offensively been impactful, and then the glove work this year has just been amazing.
It's been nuts, really.
It really has.
Runner goes. Here's the throw down to second. Tag is not in time. Stolen base.
Number 11. Pretty good jump here by Iglesias. And nice throw by Garver. It's high. And when the tag's applied to Iglesias after the high tag, it looks like Iggy gets in there. Paul Molitor still waiting on the decision to see whether they're going to challenge it or not. Come on, Paul, you only get 30 seconds. And you used 29 of them.
and a half.
Come on, Jacoby.
Good slide by Iglesias. I mean, you see where he slid to that part of the base. I mean, that's how you get the safe call, by sliding and making him reach as far as he had to reach to try to apply the tag.
3-2 on Jones. Down he goes. Jacoby strikes out for the second time today.
One more look at the slide here of Iglesias, and watch where he aims for the bag here. He's going to aim for the furthest part of the bag to make Andre reach all the way over there and tag him. Also kind of got his body away from Andre as well. Simo, did you slide head first or feet first?
I always went in with my feet. Right, I didn't like going in head first.
Did you jam your wrist on the ground, or were you able to keep your hands up?
No, I would jam my wrist occasionally, but going head first, I dislocate my shoulder. Just a lot of bad things can happen, especially back in the day where you know the shortstop, second bases, they drop that knee down on you. I was like, all right, well, I got something for that. I'll come in with these spikes, and it'll get out of the way.
I got something for that. That's why I was so amazed at how Ricky Henderson would dive into second base his entire career, man, and just the pounding you would take. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's outside. 2-0 on Martin.
And it didn't feel good either, Mario. When you dove head first, your belly flopped pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just didn't feel good. I'd rather slide on the backside and try to pop up. And hopefully there's a bad throw where I could get to my feet and head to the next base. But definitely not head first sliding. No way.
To the right side for Dozier, and Martin is out 4-3 to retire the side.
Simo, why don't you go up to the Amsterdam? They partying up there, boy.
Well, I'm not going up there yet. I'm going to go back to the Coliseum.
Let's go up there.
But they taking care of me with my little fan. Y'all see that?
No, let's go up top.
Right. Thank you, guys.
go to the top of the 6th. Fans really enjoying themselves here at Comerica Park on a gorgeous afternoon, and a matinee crowd here. That's a pretty good crowd. Hanging out in the New Amsterdam out in right field.
I think a lot of people here are really enjoying watching the way this team goes about its business.
Last night, a great example, never really out of a game.
Lots of come from behind victories already this year. Lots of stolen bases, lots of first to third.
Fulmer facing Escobar, Morrison, Kepler here in the 6th. Popped up. Shallow left field. Iglesias back. Jones in. Jacoby calling. 1 out. Hey, groups of 100 or more can enjoy Tigers baseball from the all-new rooftop deck. For as little as $44 per person, groups can experience a panoramic view of Comerica Park from private rooftop deck. Catered picnic includes hot dogs, hamburgers, baked beans, and more. 313-471-BALL for more details. Here is Morrison. And he pops up the first pitch foul. McCann will run out of real estate. Temperature in the 80s here this afternoon. Clear skies. Tigers hit the road after this one.
And Tigers need a couple more runs, at least score a couple of runs in this game for Fulmer, the way he's pitching. And make sure they have the happy flight over to Chicago. Although it's kind of not hard to have a happy flight anytime you go in Chicago.
0-2. It's more of a hop, skip, and a jump to Chicago.
Yeah, 30, 40 minutes. Not far at all.
Now Fulmer with the 0-2. Logan Morrison wears the number 99, which he picked up in spring training coming to the Twins this year. All of his previous numbers were taken. He had worn number 7. Joe Mauer has that.
Oh, he wasn't getting that one.
Number 20, Rosario has that. Wasn't getting that one either. Escobar number 5. And so he decided to stay with the spring training number. 99.
Yeah, I guess no one wants that one.
I think Aaron Judge wears it, right?
He does.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss. See you later. 3 strikeouts for Fulmer. We check in now with Trevor Thompson.
Guys, you guys have talked about it throughout the broadcast. The game plan for Michael Fulmer coming in, rely on that fastball, and he's used it to a rate of nearly 75% today. But another part of the game plan, trust your catcher. We've seen a whole lot less shaking off. You made that point earlier, Rod, between McCann and Fulmer here today. So far, although they're down by a run, the game plan is being executed to a T for Michael Fulmer, and he's looking like the Michael Fulmer of old here today. Now if he could just get some run support.
It is so much easier from a pitching standpoint if you have that trust in your catcher to allow him to put the fingers down and you just throw the ball the signs they've put down. You have to trust that they've prepared. They have the game plan, so it's time to just execute it.
I know we always go back to Mark Burley, the great lefty for the White Sox, but that's exactly what he would do.
Yep. Never shake off.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and Michael Fulmer, a dominant 6th inning. He has 4 strikeouts in the ball game. 1, 2, 3 go the Twins. We go to the bottom of the 6th. coming up. A Ram pick the stick update features not a whole lot. Where's Keating?
Oh, you see where he's at?
So -2 for Keith.
You know, Keith's got that rally goose in his pocket down there, though, so we still got a couple innings left.
Well, only 3 Tigers hits in this game, and now Lance Lynn goes back to work and throws high and away to Candelario.
Lance Lynn has done a very nice job of executing his fastball today. A perfect example of using one pitch. If you can move it around, you can have a lot of success. Michael Fulmer's also done a marvelous job moving his fastball around as well. Lots of soft contact off the bat of the Minnesota Twins, off Michael. Michael's pitch count's in pretty good shape today as well, Mario. Not a lot of strikeouts. That'll keep that pitch count down.
Yeah, a lot of contact, but soft contact.
And the Tigers, well, the bullpen guys could use a break. They really could. I mean, they could use an afternoon off.
Tigers in the ball game last night pitched really well. Farmer, Verhagen, Jimenez, Green.
4 scoreless innings out of that bullpen last night.
The 1-2.
That's a tough pitch to lay off right there. And we've seen a lot of Tigers swing at it today. It looks awfully inviting at 92 to 95. And you see the fastball come out of the hand, and then all of a sudden, by the time you really realize it's up, it's too late.
That Tigers fan right there acting like he just won the lottery. Got himself a foul ball. And he's celebrating. 1-2 on Candy.
We see a lot of people celebrate like that after getting a foul ball.
Candelario goes around, strike 3.
Lance Lynn has punched out Nicholas a couple of times here today, and for the most part, the first time up, he stayed away from Nicholas the entire at bat, finally leaving the strike zone on a fastball up in the strike zone. And second time, he also got him on the same exact pitch, that fastball in the mid-90s, up and away after going inside on a couple of pitches in that sequence.
Lance Lynn with 8 strikeouts, 1 shy of his season high of 9, which he did against the Astros.
And we'll see if he changes this time to Nicholas. Starts him off with a slider.
Two of the 8 in the strikeout column is Castellanos for Lance Lynn. Infield playing to pull on the left side. Swing and a miss again.
Season high. 18 swings and misses today. So Lance Lynn's pitching a whole lot better. And Minnesota was worried about him after his first 5 starts. His ERA was at 8.
Well, he had a really good resume with the Cardinals. He was 72-47 with the Cardinals in 6 years.
I'll say so. That's
pretty
a good resume. Yeah.
His ERA was 3.38, so they got themselves a good one. It's just taken a little while for him to show up. The 1-2. Nick would not chase now. 2-2 on Castellanos.
How can a guy with those kind of numbers that you just gave not get a job until almost April?
Really weird.
And on top of that, he already had Tommy John surgery in 2016, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. At least you don't think you have to worry about it. But yet he couldn't get a job.
Slow roller left side of the infield. Sliding stop Dozier. 1-hop throw is in time. And that's how it's going for Nick. 2 gone. Tigers host the Rangers Saturday, July 7th at 4:10. First 10,000 fans receive a Willie Horton 68th 50th anniversary bobblehead courtesy at Dunkin' Donuts. 866-66 Tigers. Here is Victor Martinez. It's great to see Willie on Negro Leagues weekend really kind of come out and do some interviews and talk about the great Negro League players I know you had a sit down with Willie and Jake Wood, Simo.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. Got them guys telling some stories. You should have saw him when I mentioned, you might have saw him when I mentioned Gates Brown's name to both of those guys.
Yeah.
Of course, Gates Brown was beloved by anyone who played with him. He was a hitting coach for the '84 Tigers when I was here. Gates Brown, just a wonderful, gentle giant, and both Jake Wood and Willie absolutely adored their former teammate. Jake Wood, man, is 80 years old, dude.
You know, you told me that, and I watched him, whether it was on the field or in that interview that you did, and he does not resemble an 80-year-old.
I mean, he is just really sharp with the mind, plays racquetball, plays softball still.
Outside 3-0 now on V-Mart. John Hicks waiting on deck.
And this might be one of those situations where Lance Lynn feels real good about what he's been able to do. And he might be thinking that Victor might be the one threat in the lineup batting from the left side that could get him with a home run if he threw something over the heart of the plate. So it looks like he might be pitching around him, but we'll see.
Swinging on 3-0. 3-1 on Victor. Shifting on the infield to the right side. Little chopper to the right side, right to Dozier. Backhanded flip for the out. Lance Lynn, 1-2-3 6. He's been matching Fulmer. Great pitching duel today.
Old-fashioned pitching duel here today. 79% fastball usage so far here today by Lance Lynn, and he's gotten 18 whiffs, mostly on that heater. Michael Fulmer also has a power fastball today, but not getting as many swings and misses. He's induced a lot of soft contact, though. A bunch of flyouts, 11 of those to be exact, and not really hitting the ball all that hard against Michael. So a couple of big, strong right-handers out there pitching some really good baseball today.
Top 7 now. It's Grossman, Cave, and Garber due up for Minnesota. 1 run, 4 hits for the Twins. The Tigers, no runs, 3 hits.
And Michael Fulmer can maintain the velocity with his fastball from the first inning all the way through the 9th inning. And that fastball average lately, his last 4 starts, has been 97.
Ground ball to short, ranging right. Iglesias throws him out, 1 away. Now Jake Cave.
Here's a play right here. Iglesias, a couple of years ago, he would have backhanded this ball. Even balls where he had a chance to get in front of him, he was simply backhanded. But I like the way he's playing the position now. He gets over there, both hands down. He makes sure he makes a really nice play on a routine ground ball, no flash, and he gets the out. I mean, it's not bad to backhand it. Much easier, though, if you can get in front of it.
Cave with 2 fly ball outs. Originally a 6th-round pick of the Yankees, he's bounced around a couple of different organizations. 285 hitter, though, career in the minor leagues. Little chopper to second base. Goodrum has it there, and Cave is out. 2 away. Well, Fox Sports Detroit University days are back. It's time to head to Comerica Park and show your school spirit. Special ticket packages include a game ticket, Tigers cap in your school colors, and a donation back to your university. If you'd like to purchase a package or for more information, go to tigers.com. That is 7 straight set down now by Fulmer. Ball 1 to Mitch Garver.
And Michael Fulmer's pitch count in really good shape. Just 86, excuse me.
Lance Lynn had 96 pitches, and he's been equally as effective today. They're just now getting some activity going, so it appears that Lynn is going to come out for the 7th.
And Tigers, with their victory last night over Minnesota, able to leapfrog Minnesota in the standings and also gain a game on the Cleveland Indians, who lost last night to the Chicago White Sox.
Ripped down the left field line. It's a fair ball, and it's going to go to the corner. Garver is on his way to second. He'll pull in with a 2-out double. His 2nd hit of the game.
It's a 95-mile-per-hour fastball, 2-seam fastball that kind of leaked in on Garver, and he was able to turn on it and keep it fair. Only the 2nd base runner today that Minnesota has had in scoring position.
Five Twins hits now. That'll bring up A-Ray Adrianza, who has a single or 2 at bats. Tried to drop down a bunt.
And 3 of the 5 hits that Michael has given up this afternoon has come into the 8 and 9 spots. Garver with 2 and Adrianza with the 1.
Now Adrianza steps out as Fulmer takes too long. Here's the 0-1. Little pop up back short. Iglesias going back there. He'll run it down, and that'll end the threat. No runs, 2-out double is stranded. Coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch. at Comerica Park, and Rod, coming into the broadcast, I think we both figured this might be a pretty good pitching matchup, and it turned out to be just that.
Well, especially the way that Lance Lynn has been throwing the ball in his last 4 starts. He's 3-0 with a sub-2 ERA, and Michael Fulmer in his last few starts has been throwing the baseball very well. Both these guys power fastballs today. Very few off-speed pitches. Neither team from an offensive standpoint has really been able to get any traction against any one of these starters today.
Now the Twins got a run in the first, and so far it is held up. Here is John Hicks going to work now against Lynn. He pops it up foul and back into the seats. Tigers offense, though, the last couple of nights, Rod, aside from that 4-run 8th inning last night, has been quieted by this Minnesota pitching.
Yeah, they really have, but Minnesota's playing some good baseball right now. Their pitching has been good, whether it be their starters or their bullpen pieces. Tigers just need to put together some quality at-bats and get some guys on base, possibly steal a base with some of the guys that can run, put a little pressure on Lance Lynn, and possibly take over this game and win this series.
Hicks with a line out and a strikeout. He'll be followed by Goodrum and McCann. Backed him out of there, almost hit him.
Lance has done a lot of that today. And both Michael Fulmer and Lance Lynn have both gone inside aggressively with their fastballs today, making the hitters uncomfortable, not allowing the hitters to dive out and hit the ball on the outside part of the plate.
Slice towards center field, and that ball is going to get down and go to the wall. Hicks on his way to second, maybe more. He'll take the turn. He's coming to third with a triple. A leadoff 3-bagger for John Hicks. That is his first career triple.
And John Hicks got a fastball that was located beautifully on the outside part of the plate at 93 and simply went with it. That's a good spin rate on that fastball. Great concentration by John, and that's Triple's alley out there. And once that ball gets picked up by Cave, he's at second, he's going to third. Tigers in business.
Infield coming in now for the Twins. They've got Nico Goodrum coming up.
Now, I didn't know Joe Vavra was coaching third base today. We didn't get that memo, or did you mention it earlier?
No, I did not get that memo.
I just noticed that when I looked down there. It wasn't Dave Clark, it's Joe Vavra.
Nico trying to tie it up now. Tigers with their best scoring chance of the game.
I know Dave ain't having no baby.
But Norris' his wife. 1 ball, no strikes. There's Joe Vavra.
Ramon, he was gone for a couple of days. I mean, his wife had a baby, but I know Dave's wife ain't expecting one.
Goodrum in the ball game is 0 for 2, ground out strikeout. Swing and a miss.
Well, here's where you got to shorten up, man. You can't be big here. You got to take what he's giving you. They've got the infield in. Just put it in play hard somewhere. Tigers have struggled the entire series with runners in scoring position.
Line foul right by Santiago. Here's Chevrolet's most dependable player, Nico Goodrum. Mentioned he was drafted by the Twins in 2010, 8 years in their system. And this season against his former team, over 300, couple of homers, and now trying to deliver the game-tying hit. Even better, hit one over the wall.
Sometimes a change of scenery is good, and for a young player after he spent 8 years in one place with one organization.
New lease on life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Different energy.
And really, it only takes one person to like you for you to have a major league job. And in this case, it's Ron Gardenhire. He saw this young man play for 8 years over in the minor league. Several of those years he was in major league camp when Ron Gardenhire was managing. And why not give a guy a fresh start, especially with an organization that's rebuilding.
In the air to center field. This will get the run in. Caught there by Cave. Hicks will come trotting home, and Nico gets it done. It's 1-1. Let's bring in Trevor Thompson.
Rod made the point that the Tigers had left a lot of men in scoring position on base, so that was a big RBI sac fly right there. But the fact of the matter is they've left men on base, period, this season. 485 runners have been stranded by the Tigers so far this season. That leads the American League in that category. I talked with Ramon Santiago about that before the game today, and he said part of that is just due to the youth of the team. Some of these guys haven't been up in these types of situations and aren't really sure how to execute, haven't learned how to execute in those situations with men on base. But seems like these guys are growing up fast right now, Rod.
Yeah, that's the one thing I've been impressed with them, Trev. Even though they do struggle, and they have struggled with runners in scoring position, there are some times where they will show you some really nice plate appearances, as they did in the 8th inning last night, as they did here today in the 7th inning. Good at bat by Hicks, not getting greedy, taking the triple the other way. And then Nico Goodrum also cut his swing down a little bit on that breaking ball to hit it deep enough in the outfield to get the sac fly.
19th RBI for Goodrum.
It's one of the things that we were commenting on a couple of days ago, Marlon. We were talking about the youth of this team. I mean, you really have to learn how to hit with runners in scoring position, especially in the big leagues, because that's when that pitcher really goes after your weakness and he really knows how to exploit it. So you really have to learn to become a really good RBI man.
Now the 0-2. Got him, strike 3. McCann not so sure. And there are 2 gone. Mac having a chat now with Rob Drake. Here's the upcoming matchup, courtesy of Wallside Windows. Mike Fiers and Reynaldo Lopez of the White Sox tomorrow.
And Mike Fiers has had some really good numbers in his career against the Chicago White Sox. He'll need to continue that tomorrow night from Chicago. He's had a good year already, 5 wins with a 4 ERA. Lopez is very talented. He's got one of those power fastballs in the upper 90s. Opponent's batting average against Ronaldo just .215. But he's walked quite a few already this year. So we'll look for that tomorrow night. See if we can exploit one of his weaknesses.
Fiers' first start of the year came against Chicago on the road earlier this season, and he threw very well. Look out, hit him. Iglesias hit by the pitch.
Well, that's something that both these guys have been doing a lot of today. I mean, they've been going aggressively inside, both Michael Fulmer and Lance Lynn. This time Iglesias just can't get out of the way. That's also a perfect example, and I want to see this one more time from that last look that we gave you. When you see that ball coming inside, you have to somehow turn your back. Now right here, you see it coming in, you got to turn your back. See, Iggy turns the other way, and that's how guys get hands broken. That's how guys get hit in the face. You got to turn that left shoulder the other way, and you get hit in the back there versus getting hit in the hands.
Here goes Paul Molitor. 2-out hit batter might be the end for Lance Lynn, who is 109 pitches into this game.
Looks like he's going to take his temperature. How you feeling?
Lynn's season high is 113 pitches 2 starts ago, and he'll stay in.
And Paul Molitor is very grateful for our manager, Ron Gardenhire. A few years ago, it was Ron Gardenhire who gave Paul Molitor an opportunity to coach on his staff at the time. Molitor had a lot of different roles in the minor leagues with the Minnesota Twins. A base running outfield coach.
Now Jacoby Jones, who has fanned twice against Lynn. They'll want to keep an eye on Iglesias, who swiped the bag back in the 5th.
Ooh, Jacoby, you're going to lay off that, son.
Jones struck out on that same pitch back in the 3rd and just has not been able to lay off that high fastball.
And Michael Fulmer,
he's done.
Apparently is done for the night or day. Michael at 92 pitches.
Well, that was a lengthy conversation there before finally getting the handshake.
One ball and one strike on Jones. 2-1. So the Tigers will be turning this one to the bullpen. Lance Lynn had retired 10 of 11 until they tripled by Hicks here in the 7th. Sac fly by Goodrum scored him to tie it up. Three and one on Jacoby Jones. Leonis Martin on deck.
Here's where Jacoby needs to make sure that he gets a strike. It's going to be a fastball, and just make sure that you swing at a strike.
This will be the season high 114th pitch for Lynn. And a fly ball to left field, hit well. Going to the track, going to the wall, and gone!
You got a strike.
Jacoby Jones with a 2-run shot to give the Tigers the lead. The hit batter kept the inning going, and Jones delivers. And Paul Molitor, one batter too late, will take out Lance Lynn. Tigers have taken the lead with 3 runs, and we'll be back.
Jones 3-1, you get yourself a good pitch to hit. He took a nice easy swing. We were talking about that front shoulder earlier. He kept it in there longer that time, and he put the Tigers in the lead. I also must apologize for Jacoby Jones. There was some language that may have been heard And I'm going to call Mary Jones after the game today and tell her if she's not watching that Jacoby used some bad language today.
Well, Jacoby has given Michael Fulmer a chance to get his first home win since July of last year.
So you're saying Michael don't care about that bad language?
No, he's not worried about the language at all. Very few of them do. What a key knock for Jacoby, and all the frustrations that he has had recently coming out in that one swing.
Yeah, we had been talking about Jacoby Jones at length today, even when Simo was down in the camera well, and all we talked about was you got to get strikes, man. You get strikes, you can hit up here.
2-run shot by Jacoby Jones, highlighting a 3-run inning. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. Shot to break a 1-1 tie. The Tigers have a 3-1 lead as we go to the 8th inning, and that means it's time for Joe Jimenez in the Wallside Windows pitching chain.
And Joe has 11 holds this year. He's been the main person getting the ball to Shane Green in the 9th inning. 2.23 ERA for the young right-hander. 35 strikeouts, only 8 walks, and the league hitting just 220 against a powerful right-hander.
Well, for the second straight night, the Tigers come back late, erasing a 1-0 deficit. Hicks with a big triple, Jones with a 2-run shot. Now it's up to the bullpen. Brian Dozier will lead things off. Dozier, Rosario, Escobar. In there, strike one. Dozier offered up a bunt, pulled it back.
And Jimenez has to get out their toughest 3 hitters. And Dozier, who's been a Tiger killer, and Rosario and Escobar, both of those guys are playing like all-stars this year. There's Rosario.
Swing and a miss.
That's filthy. That's a good slider there. No doubt Dozier looking for that mid to upper 90s fastball that Jimenez will feature on occasion. But this is a pitch that's allowed Jimenez to put up some real good numbers. And that slider at 85 to 86 miles an hour, which gets the hitters off that fastball.
In the air to center, Martin backs up. Dozier is out, 1 gone. Fulmer retired 8 of the last 9 that he faced. He'll hand things over now to Joe. Eddie Rosario, a double. He scored a run in the first inning. The Twins led 1-0 most of the day. Now Tigers have the lead. Hey, but Rosario didn't like that call. Now he's down 0-2.
It's a nice pitch here because what happens here is he starts this ball off the plate. And Rosario sees this ball out of his hand, and he sees it about right there. That ball just sees it's going to be outside. All of a sudden, it's spinning, and he didn't see the spin right away, and it catches the outside corner. Starting to see a lot more guys use that backdoor breaking ball. Very effective pitch. We've seen Matthew Boyd and also Blaine Hardy use that backdoor breaking pitch to perfection this year.
Jimenez at his last 16 outings has an ERA of 0.59.
Is that good?
That is off the charts good.
Nice spoil there of a 97-mile-per-hour heater by Eddie Rosario.
Escobar waiting on deck. Again, bouncing in 2-2 now on Rosario.
And let him hit it as far as he wants to. No walks.
Bouncing ball to second. Goodrum has it. Rosario's out of there, 2 away. Well, the 2018 Camping World MLB All-Star Ballot is now open, and exclusively you can get it online. Make sure your favorite Tigers are represented on this year's squad by voting at tigers.com/vote. Catch all the excitement of the 89th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard, July 17th, live on Fox. 2 away now for Escobar. Fulmer goes 7 in this game, gives way to Jimenez here in the 8th. Here's the 1-0. Huge swing there by Escobar. Good crowd for a Thursday matinee here, better than 27,000 fans. Fouled away.
Michael, his average fastball was 97 miles an hour today, and Joe Jimenez has just continued that same pattern today. His heaters 96, 97 with a legitimate swing and miss breaking pitch.
Twins trying to get a base runner, bring the tying run to the plate. 3-1, Tigers lead here in the 8th. You got Logan Morrison on deck. Way inside, now 3-2. Jimenez has been among the league leaders in appearances this year, and it's something that Ron Gardenhire has monitored very closely. There have been several situations, well, game one in this series, where he's been asked about why not Jimenez in certain spots, but he wants to make sure he doesn't wear him down. Swing and a miss. Joe with a 1-2, 3/8. We'll go to the bottom half. Jacoby Jones with a 2-run shot is the difference right now. 3-1 Tigers. Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Company Comerica, your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows, we can do that. We are the factory. And here we go to the bottom of the 8th. Tigers on top 3-1. It's Jeimer Candelario facing Zach Duke here in the 8th. Candelario, then Castellanos, and Martinez. Jeimer looks at a ball low. Jacoby Jones, 2-run shot. Broke a 1-1 tie. Much needed for Jones. Jeimer takes a strike, 1-2.
And a couple of backdoor breaking balls thrown by Zach Duke, the left-hander, to catch the outside corner to get ahead of Jeimer. First at bat of the afternoon, right-handed for Candelario.
And Jeimer's out of there on strikes.
Nice reaction on the strikeout here, and the final strikeout. And by Jimenez to Escobar, and a changeup. Joe's been doing it, man. Look at him walking like he's getting it done.
He's got such a different demeanor this year. Last season, of course, a alluring experience for Joe, getting his feet wet in the big leagues, but he has taken that next step quickly.
He did more than got his feet wet. He about drowned it up here.
Well, that's one way of putting it, I guess. Yeah, it was more than dipping his toe in the water.
That's right. He had to learn how to swim in the offseason.
Castellanos, the batter. Roll toward the shortstop. Backhanded there by Adrianza. Throws it away. And Castellanos is aboard on the air.
Adrianza had him played perfectly. See, he goes over to backhand the ball, then he kind of takes his time. We've seen him do this a couple of times already in the series. Castellanos is running well. He's running down that line, and then all of a sudden, that infielder looks up and he sees how close the play is going to be because he's nonchalanted the play, and you'll see a bad throw just like that most of the time.
That Brianza had an error late in game 1. He's got an error here today in game 3.
Wasn't it the same kind of error?
Sure was. And that really kind of opened the door for the Tigers. They scored a run to tighten it up, but ended up losing that game. Here's Martinez. Victor is 1 for 3. First error of the ball game for either side. This one dominated by the starters today. The Tigers finally got to Lance Lynn, though, in the 7th. You got to come away from this one, Rod, regardless of the outcome here, with a good feeling for Michael Fulmer, who did it again.
No question about that. I really love the fact that his fastball maintained the same velocity from the first inning through that 7th frame, but I was also encouraged that he started to mix in some breaking balls in the 3rd and 4th and 5th inning, and it just made his life that much easier as far as I'm concerned. Great fastball, good breaking ball, not many changeups, at least it didn't appear that he threw many changeups today.
Into center field, a base hit. They're going to try and get the runner to 3rd. Here's the throw. Nick is in there safely.
It's a nice job by Nicholas Castellanos. And Nicholas, as he saw this base hit get through the middle of the diamond, it looked like for a moment that he was going to slow down at second base, and he started to take some shorter, choppier steps. Look at Nick, like he's going to slow down a little bit. Then he turned on the jets again and able to get over to 3rd base. It's a nice job here by Castellanos.
Victor Reyes comes on a pinch run for Victor Martinez. Tigers looking for some insurance runs here. John Hicks triple to start the 7th and scored. Chopper to the shortstop, could be 2. There's 1, and a double play ends the threat. So we will go to the 9th inning. Shane Green coming on for the Tigers. He'll try and record the save.
Call Sam updates. Michael Fulmer has one of the biggest, best smiles you'll ever see. We haven't seen it as much as we used to because of the struggles that he's been having lately in terms of just finding overall success. He's in position for his first win here at home in a baseball forever. Why?
He pounded the strike zone guys with a firm fastball, 95 to 97 with that particular pitch, but he turned it into 4 pitches for me. He hit all 4 cards of the strike zone, and then you mix in the slider, that's a wipeout slider. Good luck today. The Twins had a tough time getting to Michael Fulmer.
What does Michael Fulmer feel about his day today? You'll find out on Tigers Live immediately after the conclusion of this one. But now for the 9th, and Shane Green. Upstairs we go tomorrow, guys.
All right, guys, thanks very much. And Shane Green 3 outs away from putting this one in the win column for the Tigers. Ball side windows pitching change.
And Greeny got a save in last night's contest. And pitching a scoreless 9th. 36 strikeouts for Greeny, 10 walks in 33 games.
2-0 on Logan Morrison. Kepler and then Grossman to follow. Check the count 1-1 on Morrison. And Logan in the ballgame 0 for 3. And here's how they play him defensively to pull on the infield. In there, strike called, 1-2.
65% of Logan Morrison's plate appearances, the opposing defense, they shift on him. And that's just ranks 21st in the majors. So there's 20 other guys in the big leagues that get shifted on more than 65%, which is unheard of for me. And the majority of them are probably left-handed.
Red foul down the right field line. Tigers head to Chicago this Father's Day weekend. Join us tomorrow. They take on the White Sox. Your coverage begins at 7 with Tigers Live right here on Fox Sports Detroit. 3 in Chicago, day off. 2 in Cincy, day off. 3 in Cleveland. And he got him strike 3. Morrison simply turned around and went back to the bench.
Yeah, he did. The 2-seam fastball. And Morrison must have been looking for something else.
One gone for Max Kepler.
Do you think that the White Sox will entertain the thought of trading Jose Abreu, man? I mean, this year or what? What do you think?
Talked about it last year. I don't know. If they didn't do it last year, why would they do it this year?
Man, oh man. I mean, obviously they can get something for him.
Their rebuild is in full swing too. Abreu homered to the game today for them.
Well, we'll talk about him. I'm sure a lot tomorrow, because he's a lot like Brian Dozier of the Minnesota Twins. His numbers career-wise are better against the Tigers than any other team that he plays against.
Two and one. Tigers will be seeing Lucas Giolito in that series.
He's struggling.
He's just having a terrible year.
Struggling.
ERA is over 7. He is one of their prime pieces they've received in their rebuild.
Rob Drake. A little mini protest there from Minnesota's right fielder Max Kepler. Still beefing. Look at Drake. What'd you say? You see him get up in his face.
Well, he gave him a little rope.
He's like, you ain't been here that long, young man. Don't be talking to me like that.
Kepler's still chapped. Got him, strike 3. You knew that was going to happen. And Kepler with a few more words as he departs.
Yeah, I kind of like the fact, too, that Rob Drake really didn't pay any attention to Kepler after that last strike, even though he said something to him. And Rob Drake took one look at him and said, you know what, whatever. There are some umpires that would have not handled it like that. They would have simply had some more words for Kepler.
So with 2 gone now, crowd to its feet. Tigers 1 out away from winning 2 out of 3 from the Twins. Slice to left field, base hit. So the Twins are still alive. They will bring the tying run to the plate. And that is Jake Cave. Jimenez had a 1-2-3-8. Green here in the 9th, trying to close it down. Cave is 0 for 3. Bouncing ball to short should do it. Iglesias to Goodrum, the force, and the Tigers will win the series.
It will be a happy flight to Chicago this afternoon.
Now we send you to the Coliseum Studios. John Keating, Craig Monroe standing by with Tigers Live postgame.
All you want to do is win a series and then move on, and the Tigers have done that, and it was through the terrific start from Michael Fulmer, held by a magic stick from Jacoby Jones on a day in which it wasn't so much magic for him. But all you need is one swing of the bat. That he had will take you into a delighted Tigers clubhouse. You'll hear from Michael Fulmer. You'll hear from Ron Gardenhire when Craig Monroe and I join you for Tigers Live just moments from now on a Thursday afternoon with the Goose in attendance on Fox Sports Detroit.